Okay, welcome viewers. Hope you are well wherever you are. This is a Quakers Talk Show, a show where contemporary topics are discussed bare knuckles. These topics might not find themselves in the pulpit. That is where it is sufficient for us as Quakers, young Quakers, to discuss some topics that affect our daily lives. These topics range from social issues, range from political issues. They vary all through. So every week we'll be having a guest to discuss a specific topic that affects our lives. So without further ado, our guest today is none other than Advocate Hesbon Lijodi. And let us hear much more from him. If you have a question, you can raise it online and we will tackle it according to the way time will allow us. So welcome in the show, Advocate Hesbon Lijodi. You can tell us first, who is Lijodi? Give us maybe your academic background or anything that you like us to know about you.
Okay. I'm grateful for this chance, this honor been bestowed to me to come today. And also just give a brief of who I am. My name is Hesbon Lijodi. I hail from Kakamega. I've gone through several schools, was primary. I went to Kakamega Township Primary School. I went to Mumias Boys, and I went to Lions Primary School. But in high school, I went to Musingo High School, which I cleared, and went to India. I did my law, came back to Kenya, and I practiced law for the past 15 or so years in Mombasa and Nairobi. I have a family in Mombasa. I have also children. And also in my family, my siblings, we also have one lawyer who is called Wycliffe. He practices in Kakamega. But other my siblings practice different fields. We have 3 bankers. I have my brother Geoffrey, he works in publishing. My sister Lillian works in the hotel business. So in our family, we have a variety of professions. But as you go through, you'll know about me.
Okay, so thank you for that illustrious background. And you said you have practiced law in the past 15 years.
Yes.
Which law firm, if I may ask?
Okay, I started with Kamino and Kamino Advocates. Where I was still in law school. I also was transferred to Mombasa, but I later on joined Taib and Company Advocates, where I worked for around also 5 years. Before I ventured now, I'm with my colleague called IRB Mbuya and Company Advocates, where I do a consultancy in that law firm. So I'm located in town. You can find me at Uniplaza building, 5th floor in Mombasa.
Okay, so was law your childhood ambition or goal to achieve in life, or did you stumble upon it?
No, I remember very well that when I was joining Mumias Boys in class 6, I was asked what profession I want to be, and ideally I wrote law. And my father has been encouraged me to do law simply because of my uncle, Egri Chisama, Ambassador Chisama, who is in Kakamega. And I used to see also my colleague, Mr. Mango, who were lawyers by then when I was still very young. And those are the inspiration I had and a mission to be a lawyer. Because when I joined even Musingo High School, the first question they ask you is, what is your career ambition? I also wrote law because I knew from there I'll want to study more to become a lawyer in life.
Okay, thank you for that. So there are those young guys watching you, those ones who have got dreams to become lawyers one time or to be in your shoes, to take over from you. What kind of advice would you like to give them? Is it a walk in the park, or is it something that you will have to sweat for you to get there?
Okay, ideally, law has transformed in many ways because if I look through the times when the likes of Orengo were lawyers, when the old law school was near DOD. There were around 20 in a class, and the government was paid for them fully. They were accommodated at the law school, and they used to be provided for everything. By the time I did my law, we were 150 students in a class. We were still located at the old law school near DOD, that is the Department of Defense in Upper Hill. But subsequently, many institutions have come up to take through students through the law course. And right now, when my brother was doing law, he told me clearly that there were around 1,000 students in a class. So there were evening classes, morning and evening. And also during my time, we used to go to law school for only 3 months. But right now they go for nearly 1 year. Then they go for 1 year internship. So those are 2 years. So the challenge now, as the challenge that was then, was that now there are many students. So the competition is now stiff. Apart from competition, also the issue of the money that is involved is also not a walk in the park in the issue that the parents have to chip in more. Because in law school, my time, it was just around 30,000, which was affordable. But right now, they pay to 40,000 for the course in law school. So, and per paper is around 10,000, and they do around 10 to 12 papers. So ideally, it's not cheap. And also the issue that these days, like those days, right now, someone needs patience to be an advocate. Because you clear high school 4 years. After 4 years, you have to go to law school. I've told you around 2 years. After 2 years, then you have to go again before someone for around 2 years to train you. So ideally, patience is really what is required to be an advocate. And also, you have to be sure that you'll wait for around 6 years before you start now practicing, maybe the opening your law firm.
Okay, nowadays we see so many students in Kenya School of Law failing. There are complaints, there is mass failure. So is it a problem with the system or is it a problem with the students?
Ideally, that thing has been taken up by the Law Society of Kenya because the issue, as I was telling you, the numbers are just too high. And also we usually feel like when someone has done law, that is a degree, and the law school is not a degree, it's postgraduate diploma. So we usually wonder why someone can fail a diploma while he has already attained a degree. So that thing is subject to many reviews because we never know if ideally, and some teachers who teach in the law school are also guided through the students when they are still in the respective law schools. That is the university. So that issue, ideally, we cannot say that is to do with the law school or to do with the Council of Legal Education, because even during my time, although we were not that much failing, but the issue is, if you look through also students these days, the way they take their studies, because law school should be guiding you through on how to be an advocate and not how to be maybe an undergraduate student. So maybe students, they apply the knowledge maybe as the undergraduates, which maybe complicates the issues because by the time you're going to law school, it's believed that you know what you are doing in life. So maybe part of the reasons is that students are not well prepared to tackle now the nitty-gritty part of being an advocate, and also maybe respective law firms where the students go for to be trained. Some are not trained well, they're not taught how to go about things. So maybe some of the problems that may be propping up is the issue that some students don't take the training in the law firms seriously when they're on attachment.
Okay, and then just to follow on that about qualifications and the rest, does somebody need a specific personality or a specific prerequisite requirement for him or her to pursue law?
Yes. Law, there's, if you go to the government, that's the education, it's clearly that you have to have attained a B-. Then they look at the languages, that's the English and Swahili. The languages also matter because you cannot get an E or maybe a C in languages and be an advocate. So before any student does law, it's good to go, even if it's parallel, it's good to inquire from the Council of Very Good Education or the ministry. They give you a clearance, because some students, after doing law, they are not able to join the law school simply because the subjects did not meet the criteria for one to have studied law. So some students, parents pursue their kids to go and do law, but in the essence, we find that this student might have gotten an A in biology, but attained a C in English or Swahili. So that one, you cannot pursue a law degree. Even if you pursue the law degree, to go to law school, you have to go through a rigorous process for you to be given a chance to join law school. Because you can be a lawyer, but you cannot be an advocate. So the simple difference is a lawyer is someone who has just studied law. But an advocate, you have to go through the law school. After going through the law school, after passing through the law school, you are sworn in by the Chief Justice. That's when one becomes an advocate. So the difference people don't know between a lawyer and an advocate is that the simple fact that anyone who has studied law is a lawyer. But those people who go to court and are sworn in, they are now called advocates.
So you can be a lawyer throughout without being an advocate?
Yes. So long as you're not given the number, swearing in number, you're not, the Chief Justice has not sworn in you as an advocate, you cannot practice in any court of law. You cannot represent anyone in court. Neither can you maybe attest some documents like Commissioner for Oath or Notary Public. So you still have your law degree. You can be a lecturer. You can go and work in a bank. You can go work in any NGOs, but you're still a lawyer. But being an advocate, you have to go through law school.
Okay, so meaning that once you become an advocate, does it mean that you automatically become a member of a law society of Kenya?
Yes, automatically every advocate in Kenya is a member of the Law Society of Kenya. But unless you're struck off from the role, you're still a member, and every year when you're taking a practice certificate, there's some fee you pay to subscribe as a member to the Law Society of Kenya. So every advocate who is practicing and who is given a certificate is a member of the Law Society of Kenya.
Okay, so what challenges have you ever faced in the process of administering law or in the process of law practice? Before COVID and after COVID, there are challenges that the law, that is the area of law or the court system has faced. What are some of the challenges that you have faced?
Okay, dearly, the first challenges is the issue of the IT, because it was presumed that before even the COVID, the courts in Kenya could have been fully functional in the matters of IT. So when the COVID came, most of us were caught passed down. Not even the judiciary, but even advocates. Because now we have gone for being IT now, we have to be IT compliant, even courts. And you know very well the issue that is there to do with the people being well taught of our IT, and also most of the challenges being that not all courts are well suited to provide the IT services. And also we are used to the issue of going physically in court and arguing matters in court, and also clients believe that we should be before the court, argue the matter, he sees you arguing the matter, for him to believe that you have represented him. But right now, the issue is that we don't go to court physically. Very few courts. Like in Mombasa here, the courts have been closed. We only do online, both filing and also both presenting clients is online. So the challenges maybe is that a client has to come to the office for you to be present with the client. And most clients do not have that means of coming to the office maybe. Some are in prisons. Some maybe the issue of challenges of communication. They cannot log in online to follow up the proceedings before the court. And also the issue is that the other challenge being that when we're not prepared for this, now we are in the initial baby stage of trying to set up the issue of online. But in the past two months or so, the services are starting to improve. But the other challenge being that getting matters these days is very difficult because most offices were not in operation. And also, if you go to lands offices, most lands offices are not digitalized. So we have to physically be present in the lands offices. So by the time they were closing the land offices, most advocates had problems accessing the lands office. And also the other issue is some advocates also earn a living by being lecturers. So colleges were closed, so guys could not attend colleges to lecture and earn a living well. So also some advocates also work in NGOs. I don't know very well, most NGOs are downsizing, some have closed shop. So most people are also suffering in one way or another. But I can say that it's a challenge which has taught us a lot of things as advocates. That is, we need to really invest in technology, both as a law firm and also as a judiciary, to enable offer services to the masses. So the challenges are that most guys cannot meet, ideally, their day-to-day life as they used to be before COVID.
Okay, it seems the challenges that you have faced is the same that even other areas or other sectors have faced, like the education. They are still grappling with the IT infrastructure. Even the church, they are still grappling with the IT infrastructure. So that's being tackled. Now, there are several individuals who are watching, young and old. They say lawyers are not straightforward people. They are not ethical. For you to survive in law, you have to be unethical. There is no way you will be ethical and survive in law practice. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, this is a challenge that faces all professions. Be it engineering, you'll find some contractors taking shortcuts to construct a road, get money which is not expected. You see buildings collapsing, some guys take shortcuts. And you see all those shortcuts don't go far. Even in law, if you take a shortcut, the law will catch up with you one day. So the issue is, if you practice your law on a clean slate, you earn your living on a clean slate, you'll ideally go far. But if you try to help someone, maybe a lawyer has been there for 20 years. He has gone through all the stages. He had established himself as a name, reputation, and now he has made money. If you're 3 years down the line and you want to go and drive a Range Rover, ideally, most people will take a shortcut. Because you'd wonder why this guy has been there for 7 years and he has not driven a Range Rover, but you 1 year down the 2 years down the line, you want to start off and just drive a Range Rover. That's why I find some crooks will use lawyers who are young so that they can make money using their name. But at the end of the day, when that crooks leaves you hanging, when the police or DCI officers will come to, and the corruption guys come for you, you will lose your certificate. Now that is earning a living. And for you to come back to practice, it's not very easy, Riziki. So the best way is go through the process. Even if you are to use a matatu or a boda boda, earn proper and earn well. You can account for your wealth. That's the best option. Because a society will want you to maybe to drive a car within 2 years. Don't have that peer pressure. Don't be walking in the streets and looking over the shoulder that someone maybe took money from the client who was paid and maybe taken the money illegally. That one will not make you go far in years, because a name is what will make you earn a living. Not the money that you have gotten under shortcuts. That one will come and go. Money is liquid. It will be there today,